welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special Thursday edition of the SSL Challenge. My name is Rapid, with me is Valdez, and it's good to be back. You may be able to hear a little bit of a different sound today. We are actually moved a little bit to the, what is this, to the
We're
right.
on the side.
Yeah.
We're the starboard.
We're the star boys on the starboard.
Is it the starboard?
Yeah, that would be aft.
What?
Well, that would be aft right there.
The aft?
Yeah, AFT. This is the rear, right?
I don't know.
So helm, aft,
Isn't that
starboard,
like
starside.
Port side or something?
Port side, starboard.
Starboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We're on the SSL ship, sailing our way into the air on our favorite Jin airplane right back there. And thank you all for joining us today. This is the first day of Stage 2 of the SSL Challenge, and that means that we are moving from best of 3s to best of 5s. And unfortunately, that means that we have to say goodbye to 4 of our 10 players in the SSL Challenge, which means every Protoss player.
Every single one we had. We had 4, and now they're all gone. They're still alive, but they're not in SSL anymore. We lost SOS, Zest, Patience, and Hush. Yeah, not a good tournament for the Protosses, I suppose. So we're going to have a lot of TVZ and TVT and ZVZ, obviously.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see where Protoss is going, especially just the players that we lost. Like all, well, 3 of those players were in SSL Premier last season, so it's kind of a how far have you fallen kind of thing. You start off in Premier, you go down to Challenge, and now you're out of Challenge for the second stage. Also, I think the other thing to point out is that GSL groups just happened. SOS was able to advance from his group to the round of 8.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's just so sick. And yet in SSL Challenge, which is the qualifier league for SSL Premier, I didn't have that great a season. So, interesting things have happened, and of course we have the converse with guys like Bunny and Impact who are out of GSL, advancing here to Stage 2 of the SSL Challenge.
Yeah, and we do have the second stage here. Rules for you guys on screen. The first place goes directly into SSL Premier. Second and third go to Fastlane Day 1. Fourth place goes to Fastlane Day 2. It's always better to get into Fastlane earlier. If you get in on Day 1, it means you have a chance to get into Premier on Day 1, but then you also go into Day 2 and have a chance to get into Premier there as well. So for our matchups today, we are going to have Bunny versus Impact, Jockey versus Byun, and Sue versus Rogue. Definitely the highlight match of the night at the end here, Rapid.
Oh, absolutely. It's a rematch of our qualifying match from GSL Group C yesterday, and it's just going to be the most insane start to the second stage of SSL Challenge. Sue versus Rogue, obviously, just incredible. I feel like Jockey versus Byun could also be a little bit of a barn burner. Byun has looked pretty good lately, but so is Jockey.
Barn burner. I like that.
Barn burner. This is what we do to describe great matchups, Valdez.
Nice. I like it. Barn burner.
Yeah.
I got to come up with some of my own. Maybe some plane-themed ones, as it seems that is the theme today.
Are there airplane jokes? I don't know any of those.
There's got to be. I mean, I tried one with Starboard, but I don't even know what Starboard is.
That's for ships.
It didn't even really work. I think it works on planes, though, too.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I think it does.
Planes are like airships, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you play Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
If you guys know plane jokes, maybe you can tweet some at Brendan.
Like Plane?
Yeah.
Not
like
plane
two-dimensional
ones.
surfaces ones.
Or like plane jokes, like plain yogurt. It's why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side?
You're so funny,
It's
Valdez.
so plain.
This guy.
It's a plain joke. That's all I'm saying.
All right. In case you can't tell, if you're new to SSL, well, you picked a pretty good time to start watching. This is the second stage, so best of 5s. You get 3 of them per day, and it's pretty epic. We take things a little bit less seriously here if you want, the tip-top of high-level analytical casting, and, of course, GSL and SSL
You should have been watching yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say yesterday's games were really great, and GSL Premier's games were actually really sick as well. But let's go ahead and get started with SSL here tonight. This is going to be Bunny, our first player of the day. A Terran player that actually, this season of SSL Challenge, really stepped it up and got out of his group in first place.
Yeah, I mean, he's really been looking good, not only here in SSL. He got out in second, but was in first for the majority of it. He did go 3-0 at first, and then he's been looking good. He did drop out of GSL, but he put up a good fight there. He's going to be going up against Impact, who was Group B's second-place player.
Yeah, the only Zerg player that can see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, boy.
What a guy.
The goggles on this guy, man.
I'm just telling you, man. Look at those peepers. Probably see through my internal soul.
Is that why he's so good? He can just see everything on the map?
Yeah.
Maybe they give him map packs.
He's got IRL map packs in his glasses, man. All right, well, that's going to he's going to be our second player, and I feel like for a while when Impact was on SKT, in a couple of seasons of GSL, maybe a year ago or so, he was really, really sick. He was pulling out some super secret Zerg strats, but especially just because we have only Terran and only Zerg players in here, there's only going to ever be 2 matchups, or 3 matchups, I guess, if you count, TVT. And well, for Impact, he only has to learn ZVZ and ZVT for this tournament, and maybe that'll give him a little bit of a leg up because he kind of struggled in ZVP back in the day, but for right now he has to go up against Bunny. And I remember when we were kind of talking about this a little bit later, I feel like Bunny is kind of the stronger player coming into this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I know that you definitely favor Bunny. Impact, for me, I love what he did against Hush. I think it was against Hush the last time he played here in SSL Challenge. He came in knowing exactly what kind of player Hush is. He didn't cut any corners. He played the safest ZVP I've ever seen, and he crushed the guy 2-0 because Hush was trying to do these wonky builds, and Impact's like, I'll just stay on like 42 drones and not die, and then you die. So I like his preparation. It definitely seems like, especially because this is the one tournament that he's focusing on right now, that he comes in every day very prepared, looking just really solid. So I'm looking for some good prepared ZVT today.
Yeah, now, Bunny has never made it to the finals of Major Star League before. For Impact, his big victory, I think, came in VSL. He was a VSL champion in the individual league about a few months ago, actually. Yeah, I guess it's been a while ago, but hey, it still counts. And so he knows what it's like to make it to the finals of the league, to perform on that level. We'll just have to see if he can stand up against not just Bunny today, but he has to play everybody else in the group as well, and that's just kind of a tall order.
Yeah, definitely a lot of strong players we got in here, especially guys like Björn, guys like Sue and Rogue that are going to be coming in later. Definitely a couple of the favorites to get out in the first, the top half of this tournament. Who are you thinking for the top here? We were talking about this before. Who's going to take first place?
Yeah, because first place is really what the players are playing for. It gives you an automatic seed into SSL Premier. It's what everybody's playing for. I think after Björn's heartbreaking loss in the up and down matches in the fast lane, he definitely deserves a second shot, and I would say is a strong contender to make it out of the group in first place. But either of these players could play spoiler to that. We've got Bunny versus Impact coming into game number 1 of our Premier Best of 5 in SSL Challenge.
Fly better fly, chin
air. I don't know why we're doing it all fancy pants here, but
the Korean commentators did it, so we had to follow suit. We are just the piggyback broadcast as it is.
Well, that was Bunny. This is his opponent, Impact, in the purple.
Sorry, guys, our monitors are having a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, so we're kind of.
If the cast is like Impact. Yeah, it means that we actually can't see him on screen, so give us a little bit of time. I think actually one of our tech guys was on camera earlier when we were sitting up here. It was kind of funny.
He's coming back on the way.
He tried to scuttle away real fast. It was already too late.
GIC funny colors, or just no colors at all. But here we go. So for Impact, I would expect an aggressive opening. The only downside is that this is Frost, and so it's a pretty big map. He has already gotten his pool down. What else there is, I can't really see because I'm trying to turn around the corner.
We have this big monitor in the
We should just go sit out in the audience, right?
Let's get some handheld mics and
just
sit in the audience.
Chill out with the fans. We can
interview the fans.
This could be like IRL Twitch chat.
Test their English. Hey, how are you liking this game? It's good. We're like, yeah, nice, nice.
Huh?
So we got Reaper Expand here from Bunny.
Surprise!
And
Super standard.
Early pull out of Impact, continuing with the safe play. Does make 4 Lings, though.
Yeah, I would expect that. I guess you see that against the Reaper Expand a lot. One strat that's actually really popular is the Reactor Hellion opening into Cloak Banshee. And I actually see that TVZ almost every game. I think that on Whirlwind and Frost, 2 of our bigger maps, maybe that's a little bit less valid. But with the Reaper Expand, I think that's probably just I think the safest like kind of eco build if you don't want to put on a ton of pressure early on. And I think with those 4 Zerglings, maybe even a couple more coming here in a little bit, that was probably the right call.
Gonna get the scout here is Impact. Turns that Overlord around so that Bunny cannot see that he has been scouted. Gonna reroute those Lings over there. But by the time he does get up there, the CC should be finished. And there should be some units nearby. Already 1 Marine on patrol. Not literally on patrol, but definitely standing nearby. Gonna help out. See if the CC can finish. Looks like it will.
Lings just hippity hopping around. Okay, this is like a very interesting dance since the Reaper is not there. Okay, I think he's just gonna see them. Oh wow, no! Bad Marine control. He's supposed to be buffered in between the wall and that gas geyser, but instead actually gets taken out. And that's gonna be the SCV getting taken out as well. Lots of value, even just from these first 4 early Lings.
A little play like that easily pays off for Impact. You know, the early pool can sometimes not be good, especially on a big map like this, but it does pay off in this sense because he's delaying some mining there, takes out the 2 drones, or rather the SCVs. Even going to kill the Reaper in his own base. So having a little bit of fun so far is Impact in this game. And you were talking about this Hellion Banshee open. Looks like he's going to start with the Viking. We see that mix in a bunch of times as well.
Yeah, it's a more delayed variant. Obviously, you're not super rushing out all of that tech early on. So at least for the time being, just getting map control with this. These 2 Hellions are the Optimist Hellions. It's like, hey, if you get in there and kill drones, then, you know, great job. But mostly just controlling any creep spread outside the base. And yeah, there he is trying to take down that Tumor. No! Queens shut him down.
Close. Yeah, they're like, if I attack this hatchery 400 times, we can take this out. Me and my buddy, we're going to take this out eventually.
Faith in the inevitability. Just like inevitably, this Viking will kill the Overlord in a couple shots.
Yeah, and inevitably, these roaches going to get over there and do a bunch of damage because no Banshee was made out of Bunny, rather. He went straight for a medevac as the follow-up. Looks like he wants to transition into Hellbat drops, but if he doesn't have anything to defend against these roaches, he might just straight up die.
Yeah, sorry guys, Hellions do not actually work that well against roaches. And then even when you morph them into Hellbats, they're super slow and clunky, they get outranged, and with the Ravagers coming up, Bunny needs to scout this right now, otherwise he is in a lot of trouble.
They're going to miss each other here in the middle of the map. Impact going down the middle. Bunny taking that sideways path. And still not scouted here. Only now will Impact see this. This is going to turn into some kind of weird attack. Okay, Impact's going to turn around and try to shut down this attack.
I mean, he does have... he's actually going to try to do both at the same time. Pushing and then coming back. I think he just wants to take damage, but be able to ultimately clean this up and still try to pressure the front and maybe take out that natural. But trying to do 2 things at once is a very risky strategy. We'll see if he can pull it off.
Last second cancel there by Bunny. That is pretty huge. But at the same time, this Hellbat control was pretty lackluster. He was chasing the Queens throughout the base the entire time. What did that accomplish? He killed no drones, did no economic damage, and now there's no answer back at home for those roaches.
If he gets stim, even if this force gets cleaned up, if he can take that stim out, that would be absolutely insane. Whoa, the Corrosive Vial's killing so many SCVs. Oh my god, this is just not going to stop. I don't think there's enough. That's 1 Marauder and SCVs versus Roaches and Ravagers.
I think that's just going to do it. 36 SCVs, 5 left over. And he can even kill Stim if he wanted now, but he wants to take out the Cloak first. He knows Banshees are the real threat. Can go for this anyway.
Wow.
That should do it in game 1.
Watch him kill the Banshee with Corrosive Vials. That would be the true hilarious moment.
That's where Bunny just leaves the booth. He's like, okay, never mind.
Gee. Damn. I said it was a little bit dangerous for Impact to try to both press the advantage and try to defend back at home, but definitely the right call because Bunny just had absolutely nothing. Saw that Marauder pop out, and that's like,
yeah,
this guy's got
here I come.
Yeah, 2 missiles at a time and 1 dream.
Yeah.
Of course, after that, that kind of got crushed. But wow, yeah, Impact, very aggressive rush. I feel like you don't see that a lot of times on Frost because it is such a big map. But Bunny kind of missing him with that build, going around the other side, kind of the yin to his yang around the circle.
I'm curious to how that game would have turned out if the 2 forces clashed at Bunny's base. You know, if they had a bunch of SCVs repairing, perhaps some bunkers coming up, maybe that large number of Hellbats could have taken it out. But as it stands, as you were saying, the Hellbat control was not good out of Bunny. He was chasing Queens for like 30 seconds. There was no defense back at home, so Impact was able to clean up both sides and took the victory. So seems like the MO for him in this series so far, at least, is to be aggressive. B-E. Aggressive.
Yeah, we both watched that movie. It was a good time. Yeah, so Bunny taking an early loss against Impact. You proved too aggressive. And, of course, when you don't scout a rush like that coming, of course, it's going to be pretty effective. So that's going to take us into game number 2. And keep in mind, this isn't match point yet. We're still in a best of 5. So anything certainly can happen. Comeback potential is there as well. But for Impact, maybe kind of shaking Bunny.
Yeah,
not literally. We don't want to call PETA yet.
Yeah, not. Jesus, right. Yes, don't shake the Bunny, please do not. We're jumping into Whirlwind for game number 2. And this means another big map. We'll see if we see some similar builds. But up here in the top left, this is Bunny. He's safe and sound, guys. Unshaken.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, at least mentally so. This is his opponent. He had a large impact in game 1. This kills the Brendan. Did you ever have like bunnies or fluffy pets growing up?
The first pet I ever had was a bunny.
Really?
It was a white, like, pudgy bunny.
One of the floppy ears ones?
We named it Snowball. Yeah, it
super
had big
original.
Ears. So,
see,
yeah, I remember when it eventually went on to Bunny Heaven.
You mean the farm in the countryside?
Yeah, it was pretty sad. It was like my first experience with loss of life.
Aww.
You know what I mean?
Poor little Valdez.
I mean, it's not like we played with the bunny. It just kind of sat in the cage.
Just kind of sat there? Okay. Yeah, see, we had that with a guinea pig, also a pro gamer for a while there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not very good with animals, so I didn't really know how to do very much. And one day I was feeding the guinea pig, and he like bit my finger like super, super hard, like down to the bone. It was a traumatic experience. And then
that is kind of scary.
The next week we donated him to a school, so that's how that's.
Next week.
Yeah.
You weren't wasting
any
time with that.
No, he was violent. But guinea pigs can kill, man. Once they show that they have a thirst for blood, you got to get rid of them. Straight to the public school.
Evil guinea pigs and good guinea pigs. You guys got the evil one. The good one went on to become a pro gamer, as you said.
Well, see, I grew up way out in the country, so I had friends who had a farm, and they raised bunnies. Not quite just like this. They raised meat rabbits, so theirs was not a happy lifestyle. But
meat rabbits meaning like
rabbits that don't go on to bunny heaven. They go on to human stomachs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little bit sad.
But also delicious.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like Bunny in this best of 5 may be on his way to kind of meeting the same fate at the hands of Impact, who really has shown a remarkable ability not only to get the right scouting information to go for these builds, but also, whoa, just barely catching that third right out of the corner. That Reaper's vision. That's the end of my point.
Yeah, there you go. Somehow worked it back into the cast.
Yeah, man, we got StarCraft in there eventually.
Yeah.
For everyone that's telling us to talk about StarCraft, I never understand why people say that, because, like, do they not realize that we actually just control the show? Like, we can just do whatever we want, especially in SSL Challenge, which is remarkably loose with our regulations.
Yeah, I mean, especially here we could probably do whatever we wanted. We haven't pushed the boundaries just yet. You guys can tweet your ideas to us if you'd like.
I still say we should have like SSL karaoke day where we just pick an appropriate song for the matchup and just sing the song instead of casting.
I'm sure the viewers would love that, no doubt.
Well, especially with our voices.
Oh, yeah. Rapid's got the voice of an angel.
I get 100%.
You guys just don't even know.
Every time I go Norebang, hundreds on every song, Valdez.
There you go.
I'm telling you. That's the future of StarCraft casting. In the future, we'll just cast through interpretive dance. And instead of like the person in the corner of the screen, like the little blue man that does the sign language, it would just be us doing interpretive dance.
The little blue man that does the sign language?
Well, sometimes it's a little blue lady. Depends on which channel
What kind of children's show are you talking about?
No, it's like if you watch like SBS or like Korean news out here, a lot of times in the bottom corner, they'll have some like a little pop-up.
A little blue man or woman.
Yeah, well, a person. The bubble is blue, Valdez.
Ah, okay. I see.
This is not the blue man.
That's what I thought you were saying. Just getting a little bit confused.
I was a little bit confused when I first saw that, and then I realized that they weren't trying to cast a spell out of me from the corner of my. I'm just kidding.
Well, you guys saw what was going on screen. We didn't necessarily need to explain. I'm sure you guys are very smart viewers. We hold our viewers to a very high standard.
Is true. That is the one thing I will say about StarCraft 2 viewership, is that in general, they are remarkably intelligent compared to maybe perhaps other audiences, and so I really do respect that out of our viewership. Now, sometimes they're the kind of intelligent that thinks that they know everything and everybody else is wrong except them. They're God's gift to analytical StarCraft thought, but for the most part, I would say that we do actually have fantastic viewers. And they could have told what was going on here, which is essentially Bunny going back to his double drop stim style. Oh, wow, he can't actually rescue those Marines because the medevac was too low. They got out with 6 HP.
Also, Impact, I'm not sure exactly what kind of scout he got with that first Overlord, but it seems like he knew what was coming. Yeah. Because he had the Lings available, he had the high amount of Queens as well.
Perfect positioning on those Queens, by the way.
He was waiting, ready for them. This is a lot of what we saw out of him versus Hush, just very in position, ready to stop any harassment. Yeah. He had really good scouting. Seems like he's going to have a little bit of trouble here with this drop as the caster curse does kick in. And even a nice little drop by Bunny into the natural to go along with that other drop. Getting a lot of damage here.
Yeah, he's going to get the second Queen there. That's really, really good. Now, he does have to watch out. He's going to lose this medevac by flying it into a score. So, yikes. There's my one yikes for the cast.
At the end of the day, not the most damage here from Bunny. Definitely not what he was looking for. Impact was very well prepared. You can see now that he's just droning his heart out, getting some more tech. Does have that layer available, going to start Baneling speed right away, as well as that Hydralisk Den.
Yeah, but I feel like for Bunny, the follow-up is going to be the real stress test for Impact. He went in, he kind of scouted things out and killed a couple of Queens. He got, I think, 3 or 4 Overlords by dropping in the middle of the map. So it was like, okay, well, there was like damage done to some extent. But the question is, was there enough so that this follow-up is just devastating? He's going to have Liberators at the same time to combo with it. So, yeah, Bunny is really setting up for, I don't want to say it's, like the Ihan timing, that one moment he's going to go for, but it's certainly going to be a very powerful push.
He's moving over here to take his third base, finally getting that down, along with the 1-1 upgrades that did just finish. Impact is expanding towards Bunny.
No. See, we had Frost Game 1 and then Whirlwind Game 2, so our 2 biggest maps in the map pool. Also probably our 2 oldest maps. But down at the 9 o'clock expansion, that is where you want to see the third base. Because this happens. Like, you don't not expect that to be exactly what happens every single time.
Yeah, so here we go. The Liberators in position, but nothing to help them out as the Queens going to get to work on this, and a couple of Widowmines in good position, but Impact is ready. 6 split before he comes on in
Oh my god, yeah, that's really bad. Impact should have, Bunny should have unburrowed those mines 100%. Instead, they both get detonated, and look at what's in the production tab for Impact. Nothing but Zerglings and Hydralisks.
Yeah.
And a drone.
Impact seems a bit faster than Bunny in this series, I have to say. I feel like his multitasking is looking better so far. And now he is going to go for some kind of weird split up there in the middle. Going to send a bunch of units out towards the right side, perhaps look for a counterattack at the natural.
Yeah, and this is going to cut off a lot of, well, it was about to pinch those Hydras, but thankfully Creep allowed the rest of the Zerglings to be brought to bear. Now, the big counterattack is right here that we're seeing on our screen, and those depots aren't raised. No! The Widowmine's also not burrowed in time. They're going to try to get in here, but I think that, the Zerglings are going to be out of range for the most part, and thankfully he did raise the supply depots to the main, but this is a kind of a series of unfortunate events here for Bunny. No Spore Crawler there, wow.
No Queen either at this base. This is going to do a surprising amount of damage for how few units there are in this mix. Actually drops them again, because why not, I suppose.
Well, I think he just sort of understood he was going to lose. The time value of that drop was, time was at an end. He does have another drop coming in here as well. That's got a Cyclone in it. I don't really see too many Cyclone drops, but I mean, you can focus the Spore Crawler if you, okay, never mind. You can also just ignore the Spore Crawler, but that's actually a great choke point. Of course, up at the front are a metric ton of Queens, and that's way too much for Bunny to push through, even with Stim and +1 and combat shields.
The problem here for Impact is because of his base choice, the location of his base earlier on, the 4th base, he took it at the 9 o'clock. Instead, it's so late now that he's going to just drop it here. He's been on 3 bases for quite a long time, whereas Bunny now is even getting his 4th base not too far behind the Zerg, so looking good for him.
Well, hopefully getting his 4th base. I think that SCV might have been killed, but we'll go back and check that out. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Bunny continuing to kind of get caught out of position, forced to pick up, run away, and never really get into Impact's base. See how Impact is now expanding at the 9 o'clock location? It's like, or 6 o'clock location.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's just kind of what you would expect to see. But I love how active Impact is being on the map. He's coming out here continually catching Bunny out of control, or out of position and unawares.
This Bunny's out of control.
It's Bunny. It has nothing can stop the Bunny.
What did they feed this Bunny, man? He's been looking good. Good scan on the no hive here from Impact.
Gotta keep an eye on what tech is not only out, but coming your way. +2/+2 finished for Bunny, not so for Impact, and you will be at that disadvantage. Hydras do not stack up very well against Stim Marines, Valdez, and that is a pretty good spot for Bunny to be in. Now, there are Hydras and Queens on the high ground, so that might work out, but everything down low is gonna die.
Not the fight that Impact was looking for, even though that Widowmine hit was good for Impact at the end of it all. Only Hydras against Marine Marauder Medevac is not the composition. There were no Banelings.
No.
GG, Bunny, able to take game number 2.
Kick us into our bumping between games intro music, or I guess outro music. Great way to end a great series, which is now tied up at 1-1.
The series is really taken off, man.
Yeah, you can't even say that that's an even series right now because they're both odd numbers, but for the most part, that's going to send us into a best of 3 pretty much, and I'm glad that we got a chance to see 2 big maps, 2 very different strategies, and 2 different players taking each game. I feel like we're setting up for what could be I think a very even matchup, and then we go into Beyond versus Jockshi after this, which may be a little bit more one-sided, and then who knows what's going to happen in our final game of the night. I'm just like all kinds of excited about that. So lots of SSL challenge out there.
I got my eyes on Sue, even though he did lose to Rogue at the GSL.
Impact's got his eyes on Sue too, and every player in the world.
He's got his eyes everywhere basically at this point in time with those glasses on. But yeah, we're going to be jumping into map number 3. Don't actually remember what map number 3 was, but I'm sure we'll get that on the camera here in just a second for you guys.
Currently, we just have a very worried-looking Impact. He's, or at least he did for a while, but he actually looks pretty chilled out and focused. And I am actually really glad this is a best of 5 because anytime you see players trade games back and forth, it's kind of like tennis. You just want to see that go on as long as possible.
Yeah. So in a game of tennis and perhaps in a game of StarCraft, will the ball be in Impact's court this time around? We'll have to wait and see as we jump on to Odyssey for game number 3.
Eventually we'll have hybrid maps We'll have like a Dissel Reef.
What?
It'll just be both maps at the same time.
Ascension to Reef.
Mech Refo. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Bunny the Terran player, Impact the Zerg. We keep talking about why we introduce every player every game, especially when our viewers probably know which one is which, but just in case there are new viewers out there. I actually wish that more casts would do this, where they just like pick a game out of the 15 or 20 games that they cast that day and just make it like, you know, really accessible, like explain what each thing does and kind of why these strategies are strong, and just break it really far down. My dad watched his first game of StarCraft 2 yesterday at GSL. He wasn't here, but he was watching online. He sent me a screenshot. He because of the time difference, he goes into work like super early, so he's actually at work when I was casting GSL, and he works at a company that's predominantly Korean, and so he called the rest of his Korean coworkers over. So maybe my dad's going to watch this VOD, so shout out to dads out there who are into StarCraft. Yeah. If your parents game with you as kids, or if your kids game with you as parents, that is pretty sick.
I remember when my mom... There was a picture on Reddit of like some mom playing Game Boy with like 4 kids surrounding her as she's like beating the hard level. My mom used to do that with Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, or whatever that game was called. For Sega.
Sick branding there, Sega.
Yeah. Was a really hard game, but nowadays I saw the speed run of that game over at like the Games Done Quick. They did it in like 8 minutes or something. I'm like, I don't even know.
Is that faster? Is that faster?
I was
than
a
your
really
mom
dumb kid. I don't know. This seems really easy.
But your mom could beat it faster than that.
Maybe.
Let's not think about that sentence too much. A couple of Zerglings coming in here to harass Bunny's SCV. Do they get it? Just barely not. Wow. Catching it at the top of the ramp.
Smacking that Zergling down. The other one left him to die as well. Just ran away. Now the Overlord is going to come in here, get an extra scout. Does see the factory coming down here. Looks like everything is normal in the base of Bunny, but Bunny's doing this thing where he mixes in one Marine pretty early on, right after that Reaper, and says, okay, you're just not going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing.
He needs to make sure to continue to control his Reaper, and it looks like with speed kicking in, Reaper should have its work cut out for it. But I love the, I guess that's going to be Ravens. I wouldn't expect Cloak Banshees at this point, but early third base from Impact, expanding northwards, kind of how things work out on Odyssey. You just keep going up the sides, and that does mean that players do expand towards each other. The distance between the bases continues to get shorter, and for Zerg, oftentimes that can be a little scary. Oh, it is Banshees, okay.
Yeah, not wasting any time with that, wants to get it out as fast as possible. We'll see if Impact goes with some extra safety this time around, as he is known to do, or is he just going to not play it safe and not throw down the spores? He's making this Baneling nest pretty early, as that third base is coming up. And, I mean, you said it at the beginning of this TVZ. Basically, the Terran does the same opening every single game, where it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it looks very similar every time. So, Impact going to get the scout now on the Cloak coming in. And if it's coming in at this time, he should have a good idea that, in fact, the Banshees are real and should be adding those spores.
Convincing people that Banshees are real. It's like, I told you they were real, and they come in, they're invisible.
Yeah.
Just like, well, you know, everybody thinks they're just like ghosts, and it's just like, no, I promise they're real. And then they come in and kill everything. It's like, see, I told you, and then you GG and get out of there. Wonder, why are they called Banshees, Valdez?
I don't know. That was cool, actually, that the observer showed it go invisible on Impact screen. But oh no! Flying it straight into the Spore Crawler. That was his first Banshee, not the control he was looking for.
Well, and especially the way that this push is supposed to work is that, especially if you go for continually reactoring, a lot of times they change the reactor back to a barracks, but if you continually reactor out these Hellions, what you're supposed to do is force the Queens to fight the Hellions, and then you get Banshees into rough positions. that are difficult to deal with, you pull the Zerg apart. Unfortunately, losing that first Banshee is kind of like losing your first Oracle to a Widowmine. It just like completely stunts your early game aggressive strategy.
Yeah. This is a heavy harass style kind of opening out of Terran that we see nowadays, and if none of your harass gets even one kill, did the Banshee even get one kill? That means that Impact is going to be miles ahead at this point. The Banshee, the second one, is coming into the third base, so might be able to get a bit more damage, more of that damage he was looking for before. Does have detection over here, and nice spore cancels to keep those drones alive for now. It looks like the Banshee is coming back, doing a bit more damage. Does fly away now. Our observer is showing us the situation of the upgrades. Impact was mainly just focusing on pumping out as many drones as possible, as fast as possible, and then afterwards getting the upgrades, whereas Bunny tried to get them a little bit sooner.
So Impact's had great control. He was able to take out that early Banshee, which I'm not sure we should give him full credit for that, but he did eliminate that. He defended well against the Hellions. He hasn't really lost a lot. He's up to 70 workers already before 7 minutes. That's a lot of droning. So now all he has to do is hold on against this push. To be fair, that should be pretty difficult. Macro Engine has been running away here for Bunny, and he's doing a great job kiting against the Ling Bling.
Oh, a bunch of Lings get into the natural, and Bunny really can't have this right now. He needs his economy to be running on all cylinders here. He's already behind. And this push, again, it picked away at some Lings, but that's about it. Going to morph into the Hellbats now and look to cancel this fourth, but now there are Hydras out, and the reinforcements of Bunny's push never came. So it's the same amount of units we were seeing in that earlier push.
Yeah, trying to take this fourth base, but Bunny just right on top, punishing it. Look at that, using the Hellbats in front to tank the Banelings and using one in the back to stop them from wrapping around. Beautiful placement. Bunny just with such a strong push here.
Yeah, we got some Overlords on vacation, looking to join the Terran army.
Ooh, look at that control. Bunny kiting backwards and just really punishing Impact, pushing him to his limits. It's like they're not morphed into drop Overlords. You shouldn't be scared of them. But there are 3 just kind of chilling at the front door. And what on earth are those Queens doing? Going for a swim, I guess.
I swear that the second I said Impact's multitasking was on point, he just started to fall apart.
Nice one, Valdez.
Halfway through game 2, I'm like, damn, this guy is all over Bunny. And then after that, that was the end of him being all over anything.
Sick
so
caster curse. Well,
now he's struggling to keep his Overlords in position.
I mean, hey, it might be all over at this point. Bunny has started to deal maybe just a little bit too much damage. There's you're starting to see the switch from macro from an econ to producing attacking units, and Impact has secured that fourth, or he secured the fourth base. I think he's actually up. Maybe it's just rebuilding to catch that timing, but yeah, and he's just now transferring drones to it, I believe. So that is going to be a big. Oh no! He's going to lose one of the medevacs, and he's going to finish dropping everything off. There's a bunch of mines behind.
Windo mines.
Widow mines behind there, yeah, and they will actually go off and kill a queen. So I guess that's marginally effective, but both players just really kind of trading blows.
Impact is falling apart here a little bit. I mean, he made 9 Overlords at a time. He's going to be dropping in here. Nice splits from Bunny. The Banelings come out a little bit late, and they, in total, are going to kill 3 SCVs. Now we got this push coming in once again. The creep is not pushed out very far, and the kiting is pretty strong out of Bunny. You can see he's taken out all the Banelings and all those Lings in the front. A couple more Banelings do follow up, and he will boost out of there.
Another great defense there for Impact. He's finally sort of found his way to hold that half of the map, and anytime a Zerg player gets kind of their staging grounds, their economy all the way up and running, then things start to get a little bit scary. And now finally Impact looking to make that transition to Hive here coming up in a little bit. I feel like he's just really in a great spot. Bunny unable to really penetrate and get a lot of damage done.
He's got a sick amount of gas saved up too. Ooh, I don't think that was on purpose.
No, man, it's all for the Ultralisks later on.
It's just that his macro is not really on point after I cursed him a little bit.
You got to think of the long term. Whoa, that's great. Baneling hits, and in the end, takes out everything on the ground except for 2 Marines.
Seems like his main problem is actually larva, and I mean, he gets his infestation pit. He's not making a hive right away. That was delayed about 20 seconds as he was microing. Still has that massive bank of 1,600 gas.
Just think of how many ultras that's
Where did he even
find
that much gas?
8 ultras in the future, man. That's all it takes. Yeah, he's taking up to hive, and that'll finish here. Before anything crazy like 3-3 or the real upgrades. Oh, actually, whoa. Okay, yeah, he didn't get +2 carapace, only +2 melee attack. Yeah, that's going to be a big discrepancy.
We're getting some new sounds mixed in to the SSL challenge, as we like to definitely add in some sounds onto this cast.
Yep.
As reaching new levels of frustration, watching a player who definitely has a lot of potential and a lot of skill, but when he's being pressured by Bunny, definitely having trouble keeping up. Bunny at the same time, though, still looking for that big opening to really break the back of Impact here.
Not quite the wall you want to have yourself backed into against the rest of that Zerg army. So Bunny's going to pre-split and try to set up a pretty difficult place to break, but I mean, Impact right now, he's totally maxed out. He's going to be wrapping around from both sides, and he's going to have to be the best Widowmine hits of his life to hang on for now. He's trying to hold his ground, but ultimately has to pick up. Get out.
Was thinking about dropping into the main. He's going to drop on the little cliff here, but the medevacs being focused down by the Queens. And at the end of the day, it doesn't look like this drop will be successful.
The Queens were trying to fight them. They're like, wait, they actually just can't get out of there. So they will be marooned on Odyssey Island, which I feel like is very consistent with the naming of the map. But man, Bunny is kind of struggling to hang on to these medevacs, or maybe that's just good control for Impact being able to pick them off.
We got this 5th base has been made, but Bunny looking to focus it down with 1 drop. The Lings will get here in time. Our observer is obsessed with the upgrades. He loves showing mainly the upgrades tab. Of course, if you guys have any feedback for us, the entire team at SSL, you can definitely
you can definitely as much as you want.
You can definitely tweet at us whatever you want. Still lacking the upgrades that our observer so dearly wants.
He keeps showing us the upgrades. Like, nope, they're still not that great for a Zerg player. But with 3-3 just now finishing up, this is sort of the apex of... was that a Baneling just rolling into the command center to kill the SCV?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's one way to do it. This is a lot of Terran being brought to bear across a wide arc here. Liberator set up, Widowmine's burrowed, and oh my god, this is just such a staging ground. This looks like, I don't know, the assault of some like beach somewhere. I didn't... I mean, it is a beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's not quite like the Ohana beach, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's the closest we have in this map pool, and trying to assault that from a wide angle. Look, these Vipers trying to drag the Liberators out of position, but one's in the back actually getting a lot of damage done. Bunny actually kiting really, really well, but look at these fungals all over everything!
Really nice fungals in there. Will the Hydras be enough to clean this up? A second fungal comes in. Liberator still doing damage, but there's not enough to support overall. Wow. And that will be the big fight Impact was looking for. It was looking scary in the beginning, but some great spellcaster usage by our Zerg player.
Bunny actually just lost 100 supply in one battle. Everything getting wiped out, and yes, finally he may just be able to take that gold base, but something tells me it won't be lasting for long.
Infestor here doing a bit of scouting.
Dun, dun. not the sneaky Infestor. That's 006 Infestor.
Yeah. The shortest Jaws theme song you've ever heard. 4 Ultras just popped in total. He did lose his Infestors and a couple of the Hydras. Just remade 3 more Infestors here. And now it's Impact who's looking to get on the aggressive side here, because Bunny running out of most of his units in that last attack.
Yep.
And Impact able to remax. Finally is able to use all of that gas on those high-tech units.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. He went for a Greater Spire, but he built only Ultralisks. So I guess he's just getting all the tech that he could possibly want. Baneling's already ready there to deal with these medevacs, and I mean, yes, sure, yeah, they'll deal a little bit of damage, but oh, actually, this is not going to be cleaned up. Impact is not dealing with this at all.
Well, it was a good drop by Bunny. He dropped directly onto the banelings, so also the Marauders popping out first did eat the majority of the baneling damage, so it wasn't quite enough. Similar situation here, but there's a lot more Zerg this time around.
Yeah, that is not quite the location you want to drop in. Is that a Widow Mine still burrowed there in the name? Okay, wow. I guess that may be coming into play a little bit later on. Bunny trying to be really tenacious, and I love these. Kind of remind me of like innovation drops, where you lose your big army, you're at a deficit. What do? You get out on the map, you drop a bunch, and try to find some value out there.
Impact was never able to remake that 5th. Looks like he's going to take the other location here closer to his main. Should be a little bit easier to defend. There's a wide expanse over there that Bunny can make use of. In fact, he's already heading that direction. Finally, those marooned Marines and Marauder do get cleaned up on Odyssey Island here. And Impact is ready for this attack.
Our observer is doing a great job showing us there that Impact's starting to get mined out a little bit. Whoa, look at all those grabs there, abducting most of those Liberators, but they're actually just going to run back in and re-siege. Impact has primarily just these Ultras up front. The Hydras behind, I guess, are good enough to take out the Liberators in the air, and I think Bunny is, I mean, he's kind of till his heart's content. Is that the analogy there? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's certainly doing the utmost to make the most out of having a smaller army. All of these Ultras might die here if they just get kited to death. What am I watching? Is this how Bunny wins the game?
I don't know what to say, man.
I'm so confused.
I was really hyped for Impact after his games against Hush, and I saw him in Game 1 against Bunny. I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. And now I'm like, I don't know, man. This is not looking like the same player we were looking at before, but here we go. More good grabs are going to pull the Liberators out, but I don't know if he's got the numbers to clean this up.
Look at the Liberators. They get grabbed in, and there's not enough to kill them, so they just walk back out in the air and then siege up again, and now they're killing everything. Even these Ultras just not invincible. The upgrade's so good for Bunny. He kills almost every single Ultralist. There's only one left, and there's like one Ultra, one Viper, a few Corruptors, and not a whole lot else.
Bunny with this push, it looks like he should be successful in this game.
That's his last mining base, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's mined out in the main
he's
natural
not mining anything.
3rd gold, and he hasn't taken the 5th up in the upper right-hand corner, so that should do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a point in this game where Bunny actually, he did that, sighing thing where he leans to one side. GG Bunny's going to take game number 3, but he was looking like really, scared. Even a little like eye movement there, which makes me feel like he's like, oh wow, I actually did win that game. And I feel like a lot of people out here in the audience, including us, are having the same feeling where we're just like, wow, he actually did win that game. And yeah.
You really do have to, just because you win a fight, you can't just forget about a lot of other things. And I feel like when we saw Impact just crush Bunny's entire army, take like a 60 or 70 supply lead, and then have all that tech as well, we're like, whoa, well, Impact's just in a great spot. But then Bunny came back with like a bunch of really successful drops. He took out the 5th base up in the north corner, and at that point, well, I think Bunny was really only mining off of maybe one. He took the gold base pretty early.
Yeah, the gold planetary, yeah.
Yeah, and then that finally got up and running. I was like, oh, wow, Bunny is actually just in a pretty great spot. His upgrades were out of control, and just too much for Impact to handle.
Definitely the upgrades coming into effect, but also the, the great multitasking out of Bunny, it seems like, in game number 3. With his drops, it's definitely what he was known for when he was coming up here in Pro League. Definitely loved to drop his opponents a bunch, and worked out there in game number 3. Yep. So here we go, jumping into game number 4. Will Bunny close it out, or will Impact come back?
One of these guys is going to fly to the top of the standings. Maybe it is our blue Terran player spawning in the upper left-hand corner. That is Bunny.
His opponent down in the bottom right, the purple Zerg. It is Impact.
That's perfectly timed, Valdez, right as I was taking a drink of water. Way to go.
And look at what we have here.
A cheeky proxy. Now,
we've got that, but look at this drone, too.
No.
It's not only the proxy out of Bunny, but it's the proxy out of Impact. And Game 4 is the one that you will be seeing highlights of on Reddit tonight.
Hey, man, for Bunny, he is in a great spot to do this. He's got a one-game lead in a best-of-5. You mix this in when you've got maybe a one game to lose. Hey, if you win really hard and you take that easy trip out. But for Impact, he has really thrown down the cheddar cheese here when his back's up against the wall.
Both of these guys, they say, hey, I know we're underwater, but we can still make this a stinky one, as the stinky cheese does make it out onto Abyssal Reef. Neither of these guys wanting to play a macro game on this very defensive map. I feel like after Game 3, it definitely would have favored Bunny, but just deciding, as you said, I understand the mindset where he's just like, well, we could do a quick one like this. Maybe he's not going to expect it, and maybe you just run away with the quick 3-1 victory. So let's see how this works out.
Can you have smells underwater, Valdez?
I don't think so. That's what I was saying. Like,
no, I'm pretty sure you can. You just have to breathe it in through your nose. I mean, breathing water doesn't really work, but I feel like if you did, you would be able to smell right before you kind of drown. But I don't know how that works. I'm not a marine biologist.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody on Reddit has already solved that problem for us all, but we would never know.
It's a good thought.
All right, well, this is a very hard push coming in for Bunny. 2 bunkers going up across the map, but he has yet to scout the proxy hatchery.
He's like, okay, where's your natural?
Yeah. Haha, I've canceled the natural. So I think he's just going to reel. Oh, no! He doesn't raise the depot in time. I'm so sad, Valdez.
The Marines, though, coming in to the into the main, rather, waiting for those 2 roaches to pop out and hopefully save the lives of the Zerg player here.
Well, this is what's so great about the Zerg is that you can produce most of your roaches out front and then just make 1 roach back in your main, and you're good. Nothing will be able to make it through the bunkers, so this is just going to be 1 hatchery's worth of rush units, but there is just absolutely nothing at Bunny's base, even enough time for this queen to already walk up and start hitting those depots.
Yeah, and these will be Ravagers, of course, at the front. Going to add in a couple of them. The SCV will scout this, is on the correct path, where he's like, okay, you really did this? And the answer is yes. So what will be the response out of Bunny? He's putting down a factory, but already the wall is down, and the long march back to the base of the Terran. I don't think he can get back in time.
Oh, Valdez, these SCVs are really just going to have to run for their lives and hope the Marines can make it back. To be fair, if he doesn't lose a bunch of SCVs, no, the corrosive biles, so many hitting it. I mean, several SCVs do make it out, so I think Bunny can at least kill this. Look at it, he has the rally points set so that 1 Marine is going to survive for probably quite a while. Those SCVs really going forward, trying to buffer for all the Marines. They do surround the Queen. Queen is taken out. There's only 2 Roaches and Ravagers to a bunch of Marines. One of the Roaches will fall, and it looks like Impact will re-secure his base. Got to watch out for those corrosive biles, but everything here should die for Impact.
Yeah, he plops down that Marine. Bunny or rather the mule, the bunny does.
Up against the wall, the Ravager, the zoning corrosive biles, like, yeah, you'll never take me alive, Shane. And then he rocks into the corner and dies. Like, okay, well, that's how you go down. That's what happens when you fight the law, and the law wins.
Well, now with the bunker up here, Bunny should be totally fine. Impact actually pushing it a little bit too hard, and looks like this game is continuing with Impact with non-stop aggression on 16 drones. But once this tank comes out and the wall is rebuilt, I'm not sure if this can actually work.
I don't think there's a way that Impact wins this, right? You just pull SCVs and tank everything, right? And it looks like, whoa, the bunker just finishes, and that is game over. Your rush is not successful. You get nothing. You lose.
Oh, he gets the Queen, too, which is huge, especially on this 1 base. Say goodbye to your larva production there. You're going to have to remake that one if he wants. But, yeah, this is the Army. We already have a tank and a bunker up. Let's see the godlike plays out of Impact to come back to this one.
I mean, you get perfect biles. They crush the bunker. You avoid the siege tank. I mean,
that's the play.
Siege tank DPS is not that high.
Needs to get in onto that tank. We are going to see it burst down.
He's not repairing. He didn't repair the tank at all.
GG. That's going to do it. Impact even GGing himself. And he wins game 4.
My eyes, Valdez. What am I?
Well, the bunker was burst down because of the corrosive bios very fast. There were enough Ravagers in the mix, and the SCVs, I mean, he just didn't expect the follow-up push. But that was the only way that Impact wins the game.
That was like the follow-up to the follow-up to the follow-up push. It's like he'll never keep all-inning me again, and then Impact or Bunny just pulls everything back to his he like pulls all these SCVs back. He's like, no, one tank and one bunker will hold me. He'll never all-in me again.
Yeah.
I'm just so bewildered right now. The game continues, and I did say that I liked it when players kept trading games, volleying back and forth in best-of-5 series. So, I mean, I guess I got my wish. I just didn't really expect to get it that way. That's when you get the lamp that has the bad genie in it, and you make your wish, and the genie grants the wish, but then it's worse for you in the end. It's kind of the way I feel like my wish for lots of games is going, because the games themselves are just like, we're learning so much today.
I think at the end, all he needed to do was keep his SCVs in position, ready to repair or tank or anything. You could see that he's kicking himself over it. He knows that he had that game. Even with one more tank, if that had come out in time, if he had even just bought enough time for that to pop, he would have easily closed that one out. But either way, we do stand here with the match at set number 5. And we are going to be jumping into this one right away. So let's see who will take the victory here.
And here we go. Fly Better flying into our final game of our first series. Our Blue Terran player, it is Bunny, formerly of Dust Gaming, the best team name combination I could ever think of.
And his opponent, it is Impact. Able to come back with a bit of a stinky one in game number 4.
Just kept going for the cheese. A little bit miscalled there towards the end, and Bunny just not really expecting the continual, persistent follow-up. Definitely expecting him to be maybe more vigilant in scouting this game, making sure that, hey, he was able to just get that much closer to closing out the series and had it snatched away from him. So I would definitely say that both players are playing kind of to their strengths. Impact's aggression looks pretty good, but if you play a long game, Bunny tends to win out in the end.
Yeah, especially after game 3, I would tend to agree. I don't really think that Impact has proven himself in one of these long macro games against a player like Bunny as being competent enough to take the victory. So for him, I think it makes sense that he goes for that proxy hatchery in game 4, and he buys himself a game 5 with that one. So I'm curious about the play here. He already made one Roach Rush work on a bigger map like Frost. Does he bring that in, the repeat build from game 1 into game 5 perhaps, if Bunny goes for another similar build that skips these tanks?
I mean, there are a couple of different paths that you can take through the center. I feel like there's really just only one main one if you want to not just avoid things, and that's kind of how it happened on Frost Valdez, is when you have both players kind of skipping each other's armies, well, who makes the better decision? And that game, it was Impact. Still, I guess a pretty standard opener. We see the Reaper expand into Reactored Hellions, and then maybe a Banshee to follow that up. I feel like Impact should probably be very familiar with this. It's just up to Bunny's execution and not losing that early Banshee, not losing the early Hellions, like he's shown very capable of doing. I love the bunker.
Yeah, I mean, he already saw the Lings. He knows that Overgrowth is a smaller map. Yep. And he says, I'm not dying to early shenanigans in this game, Mr. Impact, so take a seat. We're going into a bit of a later one here. Going for that factory with the reactor once again. No surprises out of him. Whereas Impact is going to finish up Zergling's speed. But it looks like he's taking his third base as well, so going into more of a macro style for now. No Ro.1.
Oh, man, watch this Reaper actually deny this. Oh, wow.
Ooh, that was close.
Seconds away from getting in there and denying the hatchery, or even just killing the drone. That would have been super annoying for Impact to have missed that timing, but even still, he will get it up. But he does know about that third just now on the way, so see how he reacts to that.
We got Overlord speed here out of Impact. He's going to see the Hellions and actually delay their pathing for quite a bit as he's looking to escape with them. But Bunny is still on the chase here. Looks like they'll get out in due time. Although the Reaper, no, he comes back and actually takes them out.
This is a Zergling hit squad. He knew they were out there somewhere. Took them out.
Marine
Here's that one Marine
ready.
that Bunny just likes to make. Unfortunately, now the faster Overlords will not be putting up with any of their shenanigans. Once again, Impact with the Queens right at the front door, so should be pretty safe from the Reaper and Hellions coming back in. It's like he gets the Marine to push the Overlord out, but then the Overlord gets speed, but then he gets the Viking, and yeah, there's everything. Pretty good defense there at the front door, just ushering those Hellions away.
Yeah, no committal out of Bunny because he sees the Lings and the Queens and says, okay.
Oh, wow.
But at the end of it all, it's going to be a very good trade for Impact, who only lost about 8 Lings, took out 2 of those Hellions, and sustained no economic harass.
Yeah, that's right, Valdez. I mean, there is Cloak Banshee coming up as the follow-up, so this is super, super standard for Bunny. Impact, on the other hand, it's actually going really aggressive. I don't know if we're quite going to see that same Roach Ravager push timing. It certainly looks very likely, but especially if this Banshee catches that on the way, that could really spell disaster for Impact.
Yeah, and I mean, Impact, he knows the possibility of this. He saw the starport with that tech lab, and here he goes. He's going to go in. Now, this doesn't mean that the push is down and out just yet, but definitely means that catching these Roaches out on the map this early is going to be quite good for Bunny.
I mean, it takes Banshees a long time to kill Roaches, but still this does mean that inevitably Impact will be able to clean it, or Bunny will be able to clean this up. He just has to make sure that he can hold on and not take too many losses.
He pulls his SCVs to try to repair the bunker, not wanting to hold the wall. He's keeping it alive for a very long time. Even the Corrosive Biles can't take it out.
Oh,
and the 2 Banshees are out now. And the Corrosive Biles can't do it, but he gets into the main somehow with some Lings.
Yeah, that Zergling run by is actually really, really crucial. While this push at the front might get cleaned up, the economic losses are still staggering. Bunny losing almost every SCV in the main.
Oh, and he can get stimmed too. That would be huge.
Wow, this would be a big pickoff. The Zerglings are falling, but it's only one Marauder attacking, and the Banshee from on high. That's just not enough, and Stim will be denied.
Ooh, boy, that was a painful rush for our Terran player, Bunny, as although he held the front, he couldn't hold the back, and he lost way too many SCVs, 29 in total. Yes, it was an expensive push. Yes, Impact wasn't able to drone up early, but it just doesn't matter because it got so much damage done. And as long as there's an answer for these Banshees, which there should be with some spores coming up, Impact's going to be way ahead in this one.
I mean, the triple cloak does look kind of intimidating, but it turns out there's plenty of detection back home. And, especially with this Ling drop, it should be able to get most of the Zerglings out. Few do make it, die in the Overlord, but this is still just really annoying for Bunny to deal with. He has to lose more mining time, and that's just economic damage he can't really afford.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he does actually get quite a bit of damage with these Banshees. Takes out 3 Queens, getting to work on the drones, but here comes another Queen on in. Going to be focusing down these low Banshees. Takes out 2.
Hero Queen there, coming in clutch. Really limiting the Banshees, and with the energy running out, they won't be able to sustain that cloak. And wow, but I feel like that was really one of Bunny's only hopes at stabilizing the game, is doing critical damage with the Banshees.
Was able to do quite a bit, and Impact, he has since droned up quite a bit. Did go up to 60 drones in total. Has his upgrades on the way, but I hope it's not another situation where he just made too many drones and is not ready for the follow-up push, because, again, this is Bunny's MO. Even if things don't go well for him, he always follows up with a nice attack, trying to, you know, cancel fourth base as he goes over and checks over there. Impact himself is going to do a bit of economic harass at this third base, which is barely up and mining.
Widowmine does go off, and oh wow, actually the second one just gets a last second hit on that Overseer. Doesn't matter, Impact has another one more thing, and yeah, man, as long as Bunny can hold, or Impact can hold on to these 3 bases and not lose, you know, too much to random harass around the world, it's certainly a much favorable economic spot for him to be in. About 20 more workers, and yeah, look at this, plenty to deal with Bunny's attacks.
Yeah, the Roach Ravager force is coming out in force, and you can see that Bunny knows that he needs these tanks. He's getting one right now, but Overgrowth is definitely a map where you need a extremely large number of tanks to really get good coverage around your third base and your natural. If you want to cover everywhere, you're going to need like
a big blanket.
At least 8 tanks, I'd say. And just having 1 tank against this many Ravagers is not going to be enough. So Impact looking to gear up for another big attack, is going to take his 4th and no doubt look to move out afterwards.
Oh wow, especially catching these tiny little drop ships out on the way. I don't, or Medivacs, wrong game. The look at this Zerglings, perfectly positioned to tank the Widowmine hits when they come back off cooldown. Wow, Impact is just really on top of everything, and yeah, like you were saying, Valdez, if Bunny can't get up enough tanks to defend his base, I think any push across the map is just going to end his career, or at least his first game.
Well, I mean,
okay, that was a little bit of an overcall on my part. No, he just like falls down the nerd hole, and he's never heard from again after this game, Valdez.
That would suck if he actually like retired right after you said that.
He's like, no, this is too much. Can't finish
the caster curse is not real when it comes to really serious retirement issues, apparently.
Isn't this the caster curse where you say one thing and the opposite happens? So then he would go on to win everything forever? It's like a reverse curse? Or maybe the curse is the reverse of what you say. I don't understand fully how it works. I don't understand my superpowers yet.
It's like where you say, hey, this guy is fantastic at his marine micro, and then he stands still and banelings roll into it, and you're like, oh, well, I guess not. Not today, at least.
Yeah, so the curse is when the opposite thing happens. If you have like a reverse curse, that means that it's not
that he actually retires.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Well, that's not really a curse at all, I guess. When what you say happens actually does come to fruition.
Yeah, the reverse curse.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep my cursing for off air. I feel like that's a good career move.
And I feel like Impact is going to be cursing himself if he doesn't go attack soon, because he's really having trouble pulling the trigger in these series. Yeah, he's letting Bunny have opportunities to drop himself back into the game.
Oh, wow, great mind hit, but finally, yeah, Impact is coming, but is it too late? There's going to be a very strong timing if you can hold on it for 2-2. It's only about 10 seconds away, but Impact is hitting at a very crucial time. Have to avoid the corrosive bios. Actually, the tanks in the back dealing a lot of damage. Impact running in and losing everything.
Bunny with a really nice spread. He was waiting up on top of the ramp for Impact to walk in, and Impact's like, okay, I'll be your guest. Here I come. And then he decided not to corrosive bile any of the tanks as well, so they got maximum value.
Yeah, I mean, is that not why the Ravagers are literally in your army? Just to corrosive bile the tanks, or maybe Liberators behind that? I don't know. That was also kind of a rough timing for Bunny because he was about to hit 2-2.
Yeah.
He didn't even need it. Crushed Impact's army. And, wow, it's just now going to counterattack, and I don't know if Impact can hang on here. He's going to lose mining bases. He's going to take a bunch of damage up front, and look at this now with 2-2. Just a hugely advantageous position for Bunny to be in.
Yeah, he doesn't need to kill Impact right now. Taking out that fourth base is basically killing Impact at this point. He's barely even mining from his third due to the harass, and coming into the main here might even be like a overcommittal at this point. He can essentially just go home, say, okay, I'll get more tanks, I'll get more Liberators, and a fourth base, and we'll see if he can deal with that, as that is exactly what he's doing. This Banshee is still getting kills somehow.
It's his time. Okay, wait, see, that's the caster curse right there. Oh, that's like, wow, this Banshee's really doing, oh, no, it dies. But it did get a lot of kills. And keep in mind, look at the 22 drones that Impact just lost. Bunny took more damage than that early on, and he's ahead in the game. How does it happen? What a guy.
Well, we can explain it a bit for sure. Definitely the composition that Impact has is not a good one against what Bunny has. And there was a certain timing, as I was saying. You need to attack before he has enough tanks. You need to attack before he masses Marine Marauder, because your Roach Ravager is not going to do well when you're fighting 170 supply. It will do well when you're fighting 120 supply, and he has 2 tanks only that you can instantly Corrosive Bile. So now he's trying to make this outdated composition work.
Oh, the time for redemption is nigh. He actually misses the Corrosive Biles on one of those Liberators and lets it deal even more damage than it was meant to do. And this is exactly what you're saying, Valdez. This outdated Zerg army composition is not enough. The Bunster comes back from what was, I thought, a terrible deficit early on. He lost, what, 30 SCVs, and it was just, whoa, this is getting crazy. Bunny definitely deserving of that win. I gotta say, one of the biggest comebacks I've seen in a while.
Yeah, Bunny, he's got like mixed emotions on his face. He's like immense relief, obviously, you know, head and hands, but at the same time, you know, a little bit of grimacing too, where he's like, oh, I feel like I could have played that better. And honestly, we've seen better play out of Bunny. I feel like Impact, in a way, was responsible for the way that the series turned out. I don't want to take anything away from Bunny, but looking forward to better Bunny play next time he comes up and perhaps another win. But guys, we're going to have a commercial break. We'll be right back.
All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove.